Welcome back to another episode of Talking Hockey, hosted by Liam O'Loughlin and Jason Shulman. The NHL trade deadline has passed. It was one of the worst trade deadlines ever, starting off with the New York Rangers trading Artemi Panarin prior to the Olympic break. So Artemi Panarin got traded to the Los Angeles Kings in exchange for Liam Greentree and a 2026 third-round pick. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so Panarin is the Rangers franchise player and has been for the last couple of years. And the Rangers, they haven't been doing good the last few years. They even said how they're looking to rebuild their team, which isn't that good for them. They had a great roster the last few years, and it just went downhill for them. I don't know where it went wrong, was something with the trades or whatever they did. Not great for them. And Panarin does get to go to LA now. But I don't like what they traded him for Liam Greentree and a third-round pick. Liam Greentree, he's a prospect who's, I think, 20. He hasn't played a game yet. He's projected to be really good, but, again, trading your best player for a young prospect and basically a third-round pick. That third-round pick might not really be anything. Majority of picks, later rounds, don't really, impact much. But it's still it's an okay trade for me. It could have definitely been better. They could have gotten a lot more for their best player.
So the Washington Capitals traded their longtime defenseman John Carlson to the Anaheim Ducks in exchange for a 2026 first-round pick and a 2027 third-round pick. What do you think about that trade?
Yeah, John Carlson, he's been playing for the Capitals the last 15, 16 seasons. He's a longtime veteran for them. He won the Stanley Cup with them and Ovechkin and Wilson. So losing their defenseman for so long is definitely emotional for them. Getting a first-round pick and third-round pick, I think, suits him well. He's old. There really isn't a lot of value to get from him, but definitely getting the pick and getting the two picks is definitely good for Washington, who I think in the next few years are going to be pretty bad after Ovechkin and Wilson start to go.
So the Chicago Blackhawks, they traded their captain Nick Foligno to the Minnesota Wild for future considerations. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so Nick Foligno was their captain the last 2 years. Foligno's been playing a long time. He's old. He's played for so long. For trading him for future considerations, I don't like those trades. It usually just ends up being a really late draft pick. Foligno, definitely Minnesota, great for them. They are getting a lot of. They have a chance to do really good this year, postseason. But next few years, I don't really. I think this year, maybe next year, 2 years maybe, because they do have great players like Kaprizov, Faber, Hughes, whatever, and getting Foligno for playoffs, who has a lot of experience, great for them because they're most likely playing Dallas first round, and Dallas is really good. So getting their veteran players who can play good in the postseason is definitely good for them.
Also, Corey Perry was traded to Tampa Bay Lightning in exchange for a 2028 second-round pick. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, Corey Perry also has played very long time. He has won a Stanley Cup back with Anaheim, I think that was 20 seasons ago. And the last 6 seasons has been really unfortunate for him. He's lost in the Stanley Cup final 5 years in the last 6 years. Definitely, fortunate for him. He's always losing in the finals. Going back to Tampa Bay, which he did lose with Tampa Bay back in 2021 or 2022. He lost in the finals with Tampa Bay. And going back to them, which this year they're doing good. Last year was not great for them. This year they are doing good, and they can make the playoffs again. So getting him back to there is definitely going to be fun to watch him play back with his old team.
So Captain Braden Shen of the St. Louis Blues was traded to the New York Islanders for Jonathan Drouin and Marcus Skidloff, as well as a 2026 first-round pick and a 2026 third-round pick. What do you think of that?
Yeah, Braden Shen was St. Louis's captain for, I think he was captain during their playoff run. I don't really remember. But St. Louis this year definitely tanked. They were, after winning the cup, they made the playoffs, I think, 2-3 more years, lost in first round all times, every time. And they're not doing good now. They're about to lose a lot of players, like Thomas, Kyrou, Bennington. they're all about to be free agents, and those are their best players. So they aren't doing good, and they have to trade their players who deserve to be on teams to be playing the playoffs. But going to the Islanders at the time, it was really good because the Islanders were they were they were like favored to be clinched. They were second in the division in Metro. Problem with that is that Metro division standings change every day. So Islanders are not in a playoff position right now. So if they can make it to see Shen back in the playoffs, would be awesome to see.
So St. Louis also traded Justin Falk to the Detroit Red Wings for Justin Holl, Dmitry Bukelnikov, a 2026 first-round pick, and a 2026 third-round pick. What do you think of that?
Yeah, so like I said, St. Louis, they're making trades, and they need to. Justin Falk, a great player. To Detroit, definitely good. Detroit, again, at the time, a few weeks ago, Detroit was most likely going to make the playoffs. Now it's anything can happen at this point. So I do want to see them play in the playoffs, but it might not happen. It was still a good trade, so yeah, I guess.
And the Calgary Flames traded Nazem Kadri to the Colorado Avalanche for Victor Olofsson, Max Curon, a 2028 first-round pick, and a 2027 second-round pick. What do you think of that?
Yeah, Nazem Kadri, he won the cup with Colorado, and he was the captain. No, he wasn't. He might have been. No, he wasn't the captain, but he did win the Stanley Cup with them. So going back to them when they're number one in the league right now, they're clinched playoffs. Colorado, they have great players, McKinnon, Makar, getting Kadri back. They can be really good, and with Colorado, who they traded back, really just young players, to Calgary. Calgary, they're in a rebuild still. They're probably gonna be in a rebuild for another year or two. Then I think they can do better after that. But getting Kadri back to Colorado is definitely great. See if they can make the playoffs again.
So overall, why do you think this trade deadline was so bad and how it was?
So this trade deadline, it wasn't that it was bad. It's just there was a lot of moves that definitely could have happened. There were a lot of great players who were free agents who everyone was expecting to move, like St. Louis, Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, and with other teams could have traded Hamilton, Trocheck, Kane. A lot of potential was for great trades was missed, and I didn't really like it. And when the trade deadline was supposed to end at 3 p.m., basically no moves had happened, and everything happened after that. I mean, sometimes trades take a little bit of time to get thrown out there and stuff. But I didn't really like how the trade deadline worked out.
So that wraps up this episode of Talking Hockey. Thanks for watching, and come back next time for another great episode.